Hello. How are you guys? Long time no see. I haven't done a live since like springtime. So I was like, it's about time I get back to these live workshops with y'all. So if you don't know, I'm Skylar Reed. I'm a singer, songwriter, vocal coach, do session work. I do performing. I just do a lot. I do a lot of vocal tutorials on here on YouTube that you guys can check out. Breaking down runs, breaking down harmonies, all that good stuff. But today, we're going to actually talk about booking gigs. Okay. Um, Studying music in school, I learned how to sing. I did not learn how to become a working musician. That was not a thing that was taught. It's something that you just kind of had to learn trial and error. So if you are a singer or a musician, instrumentalist, that just maybe you might have a band, maybe you might be a solo person, just you and the guitar. This video will be really good for you to just know some basics to like help you get started in booking your own gigs, eventually getting paid, doing what you love. The pandemic sat me down for quite some time. I didn't gig for probably, I won't say 2 whole years, but it was a minute. It was probably like a year and a half. Then I did a quick little outside festival gig. And then now I'm actually gigging way more frequently than I thought I would be. I'm like, okay, I'm back out here. I'm back out here in these streets. So I'm booking events, I'm booking festivals, I'm booking what other gigs can you book? Just like things, paid gigs, okay? Booking paid gigs for myself and my band. And it's been a great blessing to be able to do that. And if you guys are on here and if you have any questions about anything, definitely let me know in the comments and I will respond. I will respond. I will respond. So let's get into it. So, with booking the gig, the first thing, um, I want to talk with you guys really quick about some of the performing background that I've done. And those of you on live, let me change my camera. Those of you on Instagram, hello, hello. I'm on YouTube. Join me on YouTube live for some quick tips on booking your own gigs and just being a successful musician. So basically, my background started, I would say it started in college. When I was in college, I guess my first paid gig as a singer was in the choir in a church choir. So you may not know that you can get paid to sing in church choirs. Obviously, most church choirs, or I won't say most, but volunteer. Well, yeah, mostly are volunteer. So you volunteer your services. You're singing for the Lord. Like who really cares about getting money? We're praising the Lord. It's fine. But there are churches that will pay for good singers to be in their praise team, in their choir and whatnot. So they have the budget for that, which is dope. So I had 2 church gigs when I was in college. One at a regular Baptist church, I believe it was Baptist, and another at an Episcopal church, which is really different from the Baptist. And I grew up Baptist, so going to the Episcopal church, it was very, very, I don't say strict, but it was just different. It was just different vibes. But it was cool because I was able to practice because I was still learning in school. I was learning sight reading. I was learning all these different things in college. So I was able to practice what I was learning in real time in these situations where you might get a hymn book and you have to sight read. And it's good to know how to sight read. Anyway, from there, I would book gigs that were, I don't know if they were necessarily paid. They weren't, I was in college, they weren't paid, but I would sing like things at my college, like banquets and things like that. If the school was having something, I got asked by the music department, like a teacher or whatever, professor at the music department, to sing at some banquet for whatever it was. Dressed up, sang classical music and stuff like that. And that was, in a sense of me. I am located in Atlanta. Thanks for asking. I'm located in Atlanta. So I did that. And then from there, I went into graduated, went to LA. I was opera chorus. And that was great. That was not a volunteer situation, but it was not like a whole bunch of money, but it was a little bit, it was something. So it's like, okay, like I'm doing that, and that was really cool, to be able to be a part of something like that. Um, and it was just fun. It was just fun to be able to make music. It's like, oh, you could like really sing and make music doing, make money doing singing in any facet, in church and operas. When it comes to like being more like pop R&B in the secular realm, I definitely dabbled in gigging, and I'll get to the open mics and stuff in a second. But I dabbled in doing open mics. I dabbled in booking my own shows at restaurants and bars and lounge. Well, I'll say restaurants and bars. So when I lived in LA, I would book my own shows at restaurants and bars. And how that setup worked, they paid you, like you get a portion of the door. So I went through that process of, okay, booking myself. At that time, I went through I had one band in LA that I stayed with pretty consistently. Um and it was cool. I did my own auditions. I like found the musicians I wanted. I, scheduled rehearsal time and just really put the time into like cultivating the music that we wanted to do and the kind of performance. So went from that. Now I'm in Atlanta, doing festivals, doing just bigger events and things like that. I wanted to level up how I'm performing and whatnot. But there's different levels and different ways to go about, getting to that level. So I'm going to kind of break down, and I'm by no means at the level that I want to be, but I am happy to be able to be getting paid and being able to pay my band and be able to like give them what they actually ask for whatever the gig is, the duration of the gig, the amount of things that are being asked for. So if you're on Instagram, come visit me on YouTube. Bye. All right, so YouTubers, let's see. We are going to get into the first step. The first step is a press kit. So a press kit could be a digital press kit. So digital EPK, electronic press kit. So you have that. I use Sonic Bids. When I first started, I used a website. I'm not sure what it was called. But I first did a website where it kind of was great because it showed you what you needed in a press kit. It kind of laid everything out. So you needed to show your performance history. You need to just show the dates and like the locations of where you performed. You needed to show any press that you had, any news that you might have acquired. Maybe a blog wrote about you. And that's a whole nother thing, getting blog placements and stuff like that. But maybe that was a thing that worked out for you. So basically the EPK, electronic press kit, or a one sheet. And a one sheet is basically just like something you could it's kind of like a calling card. Like if you go to an audition, to audition for a play or musical or whatever, and you have like your headshot and this and that. It's kind of like that, but just like on one sheet. So you have your headshot, you have like maybe the main big events that you performed at, big gigs that you did, maybe some albums, maybe like some quotes, some testimonials or whatever it is, from gigs and stuff like that. So one sheet. And what I probably will do is put a link to the one sheet in the comments, in the description. I'll put a link to my one sheet. Well, I have two, so I'll put a link to those so you can kind of see. Because I have no idea how to share my screen. So anyway, so there's that. Within that, professional photos. So in your press kit, a really nice professional photo. So studio photo shoot with stylistic pics or headshots. So stylistic, I'm thinking pose, glam, like I did one, I wore a crown for like my Descended Crowns EP that I put out. I was like, I'm just gonna dress up, I'm just gonna do this, go all the way. You can have certain props, things like that. If you're a musician, a lot of the musicians I work with or just musicians I've seen, they'll have like if they have a key, or it's easy with a guitar, they might have like a or a bass or whatever. They might have like a picture with their instrument, or sitting on the top of a piano or whatever, or holding a key bass or key portable keyboard, something like that. So having those kind of pictures to kind of really show what you do is really, really helpful. Having great headshots is really helpful. Usually when I do a photo shoot, I always get like the looks, but I also get headshots. Also for myself as a business owner, I just okay, I'm gonna quick little like top, maybe outfit change, and I'll just use this top half for um my headshot for my studio. But it's usually like stylistic and whatnot. Photos of you in action. So have a photographer shoot you at a live show. This is helpful because it's like, okay, people want to see that you actually are doing what you say you do and you're actually worth the money, that they might have to be able to pay you eventually. So having those professional photos done, having a photographer come out to a live show is so, so good. I have done it in the past, and I mean, I'm going to continue to do it because it's just helpful. Like to have quality pictures of what you're doing live, just you in the action, you in the moment. In addition to pictures, videos. Like everyone that books you is going to want a video. If they don't already ask for it in like certain submission forms, like I usually do emails, but anyway, certain submission forms, like you they'll most likely will ask for it. There'll be like a little link, like, hey, what's your performance video or 2 performance videos or whatever at the most, so they can just kind of see and get a taste of like how you are as a performer, because it really is important. If you're trying to be a performer and an entertainer, it's different being a singer, being a recording artist and a professional like singer in the booth, and then actually hitting the stage and like entertaining and being a performer. So give them a taste of what they'll get if they book you. Share your best performance videos. I will put all the links to my references in the description, but if you have not seen it yet, it's already on YouTube. My Are We There Yet my Are We There Yet visual EP. Basically I use that for booking for the most part. I use that. And that was something that I intentionally like filmed. I like got the band, we rehearsed, we filmed. It was like a whole production. But I did that for obviously my EPK release. My EP release, but also just to really showcase like, okay, like this is me in the band setting. And it really helps. It definitely works. So using that, it kind of acts as a reel. So it's a snippet of songs and different styles of my original music. If you ever look at wedding bands or corporate bands, they usually have a visual EPK, a reel of what they can do. I was in a corporate band once and we went through the whole process of recording the EPK, like not even full songs. It was like snippets of the best parts of songs all compiled together with transitions. And then we had to practice that vocally and choreography or whatever, and then videotape it, like do an actual video, performance video of it, stage, of course, like yeah. So we had to do that, and that is important. So if you wanted an idea of that, definitely look at like wedding bands or corporate bands. Decide what kind of performer you will be. So a lead singer. And I guess this will be like step 3, like we're outside of the press kit now. So step 2 actually. So all that stuff was like what you need for a press kit and just like, be able to have the right materials to send out. So 2, decide what kind of performer you will be. Lead singer in a cover band, a background singer, a singer that sings just originals, a singer that sings originals and covers. Like, what are you? A lot of these restaurants, they might just want a cover band or cover singer. And then you might have places where it's like certain events in Atlanta, like they're like, oh yes, it's artsy. We love, people to share their originals. Festivals, they love to hear the originals. And certain things, it just depends. Like some places really push that and really cater to up and coming artists. Myself as up and coming artist, I always do a blend. It just depends on the event. I cater my set list to what it is, to the blend and whatnot. But basically, there's that. Number 3, decide what kind of venues you want to perform in. So initially, play where you can for exposure and practice. Atlanta has tons of open mics. If you're in Atlanta, I'm sure if you're in a major city or a musical city, there's tons of open mics and just opportunities for you to be able to perform and just practice. Honestly, when I started doing open mics in LA, I sucked. I just was a horrible I came from a classical background, so I didn't know how to work the stage. I stood in one spot like a classical singer. I didn't know. But there's this place called the GS Lounge in LA that I would perform at all the time. Like all the time to where I built a relationship with the owner. And I was in there. They gave me like a VIP spot for one of my releases. They let me shoot a video there just because I was constantly like always there doing the open mic thing. Now that I'm in Atlanta, I don't do the open mic thing as much. I more so go for just like fun and inspiration. But open mics are a great way to get exposure and just to practice. Okay. Um, Different venues, there's different venues like nightclubs, special events, weddings, bars, festivals, showcases, or variety shows. Also restaurants, they do dinners, they do brunches, they do coffee shops. It just depends. I imagine coffee shops would be good for like a guitarist and whatnot, or a dinner might be. I've done a couple dinner venues where it's like, okay, you are singing maybe covers, you might be doing some kind of slow type stuff. Brunch might be a little live with the mimosas, it just depends. Next, performing, practice your performing, and then searching out a gig. So I actually ran out of time. So I might do next week, or I'm gonna come back. If you guys want to know how to practice for performing, or how to search out a gig and book your own gig, let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely like come back and finish this. But I gotta get to my students. Peace out, y'all.